Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Pastor Shay, aka Chaplain G, coming back at y'all with another word of encouragement for today. So I wanted to take a pause and give y'all this word of encouragement because I feel like there's sometimes when we are faced with impossible tasks in life. Maybe our job is asking us to do something that we don't feel like we have the skill set or the time or the knowledge base or whatever else, the courage. We just don't feel like we can get it done. Sometimes God asks us to do something. Sometimes He asks us to go and talk to a particular person or go to some other part of the world or do this thing or give up this thing. And we're like, I don't know how to do this in my own strength. And my word of encouragement that I want to give to you today is sometimes what God is asking you to do is just have faith and trust in Him. Sometimes it is, honestly, an impossible task, and God knows it's an impossible task, and the reason He's giving it to you is not to try to see if you can do it yourself. Most times, it's to increase your faith. There's a story that I want to talk to you about. It's in the book of Mark. It's chapter 16. It's right at the end of the book of Mark. Jesus has been crucified. He's been placed in a tomb, and the people that placed him in the tomb are now going back to treat his body and for a proper burial. And so that's where I'm going to pick up in the story. I'm going to read you a few verses, and I'm going to explain what I mean a little bit. So this is Mark chapter 16, verse 1. It says, "When the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James, and Salome brought spices so that they might go and anoint Jesus for burial. And very early on, the first day of the week, when the sun had risen, they went to the tomb, and they were saying to one another, 'Who will roll away the stone for us from the entrance to the tomb?'" I want to pause there real fast because you'll see these hard questions at a few places throughout the Bible, and they're there very strategically. I hipped y'all to one the other day, way back in Genesis, when Isaac is going with his father Abraham up the mountain. He says, "Father, who's going to provide the lamb for the sacrifice?" We see that question here in Mark chapter 16. We also see it in the book of John as Jesus is with his disciples, and people are hearing weird stuff Jesus is saying, and they're leaving, and he turns to his disciples and says, "Are you guys going to leave too?" And Peter says to him, "Where else can we go? Where else could we go?" And what we find is, as we look at the entire narrative of the Bible, all of those questions are answered in Jesus. Jesus is the sacrificial lamb that Isaac was talking about. Who's going to roll away the stone? Christ himself rolls away the stone because he's no longer dead. In John chapter 6, as Peter is asking that question, Jesus is the only source of life. He has the words of life. And so there's sometimes when we're tasked to do something, and man, it feels impossible. And you're like, I don't know if I can get this done. I think I'm a fail. I think people are going to think less of me. My weaknesses are going to show. I'm going to be vulnerable to everybody. People are going to look down upon me. And we have all these fears, all these anxieties, all these things going on in our minds and our hearts. And it takes us to a place of despair, and we're wondering, who is going to rescue me? Where am I going to get the power to do this thing? Where am I going to get the strength to keep going? Where am I going to find the courage to say these things to these people that need to hear it? And the answer every single time is Christ. That's where we find the answer. That's where we find the source of strength. That's where we find the source of life. That is the sacrificial lamb who takes away our sins so that we can be in the presence of the Father. These questions are so important, and it makes life scary. And Jesus knew that. It's the reason why he would say stuff like, I came to seek and save the lost. It's the reason why he would cry when he would look over the city of Jerusalem, because he says they were like a sheep without a shepherd. It's the reason why he said, even though I'm going to be at the right hand of the Father, I will return one day, so that where I am, you may be also. All the big questions we have in life, all the struggles we go through, the source of the answer, every time, without fail, is always going to be right there at the right hand of God in the man Jesus Christ. So I don't know what you're going through today. I wanted to offer that to you as a word of encouragement. I know the stuff I'm going through, and I know as I read the Bible and I read these big questions and I read Jesus' responses to them, man, it's a source of encouragement for me, and I want to pass that along to you. I hope y'all doing well. I'm praying for you. Please hit me up an email so I can know specifically how to pray for you. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. It's a free thing, and if you, at the end of this video, it costs nothing. Just give me a little thumbs up, give me a little subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm putting stuff out. But I love y'all, man. I hope y'all doing good. And until next time, grace and peace.